When an HOA Karen blocked the only road to a farmer's land, she thought she'd won. But she never imagined that he'd come back. Not with anger, but with blueprints. Because this farmer didn't fight her in court. He built a brand new road right through her perfect front yard. This isn't just a story about roads and fences. It's a story about pride, persistence, and poetic justice. Ben Callahan was 58, a third-generation farmer in Willow Creek County. His land stretched over 200 acres, golden fields, a weathered red barn, and a simple farmhouse he'd built with his late wife, Emily. For decades, the old county road that ran alongside his property was his lifeline. Trucks, livestock, fertilizer, everything came and went through that dusty path. Then came the Oak Meadows HOA, a new suburban development that swallowed up the southern edge of his farmland. Overnight, Ben went from being the local farmer to the old guy living behind the new subdivision. Still, he minded his business. Until one Monday morning, his delivery driver called, frustrated. "Ben, I can't get through. There's a gate across the road." Ben drove down, dust swirling behind his old Chevy truck. And sure enough, a shiny iron gate with a bold sign stood across the public path. Private access, HOA residents only. Standing beside it was Karen Preston, HOA president. Expensive sunglasses, designer garden gloves, and an attitude sharper than the gate itself. "Morning," Ben said, trying to stay polite. "Not for long," she replied. "This road is HOA maintained now. We can't have your farm trucks tearing it up," Ben frowned. "Ma'am, this road's been here since before your HOA existed." Karen smiled thinly. "And now it's not." The next few days were pure frustration. Ben received letters, violations for unauthorized access, excess dust, even visual pollution. The HOA fined him $500 for disrupting the peace. Mail stopped coming. Deliveries were canceled. Neighbors began whispering. Ben contacted the county, hoping for a quick fix. But bureaucracy had already wrapped itself around the issue. The HOA had temporarily assumed maintenance on the road while the county reviewed property lines. Temporary. That word burned in Ben's chest. His crops were wilting. Feed trucks couldn't reach him. He was losing business, all because one woman wanted control. He tried to reason with her one last time. She told him, in front of the entire HOA board, maybe it's time the county turned that land into something useful, like a community garden. Ben didn't say another word. He just tipped his hat, walked out, and started planning. Ben wasn't a man who shouted, but he knew how to build. He went through the old land deeds his grandfather had left behind, and that's when he discovered something Karen never bothered to check, a right-of-way easement that crossed her subdivision. A narrow, forgotten strip of land that technically still belonged to Ben's farm. It was an old access path, unused for decades, buried beneath grass and decorative HOA trees. Ben smiled for the first time in weeks. He drove to town, got the proper permits, hired a small crew, and began clearing brush. The HOA panicked. The next morning, Karen came running out in her bathrobe, shouting from her driveway. "What are you doing?" "Just building a road," Ben said calmly, "to my own property." "Through my own land. You can't. That's our neighborhood," she shrieked. He pointed at his laminated deed. "No, ma'am. That's mine." By the third week, the rumble of machinery echoed through Oak Meadows. Trucks rolled in at sunrise. Gravel crunched under tires. Cement poured. Ben didn't cut corners. He made that road wide, clean, and perfectly legal, cutting directly through Karen's prized front lawn. Neighbors watched in disbelief. Some were angry, others secretly thrilled. Karen called the police. They shrugged and said, "He's within his rights." She called the county. They confirmed it. She called the news. They came, filmed, and laughed. The newscaster even said on air, "When HOA power meets old-school patience, the results can be constructive." By the time the road was finished, Ben had built more than an access route. He'd built a statement that you don't bully a man who knows how to use a shovel. A map and the law, he named it quietly. Just for himself, Emily's way. After that, things in Oak Meadows started to crumble. Karen's lawn was gone, but so was her reputation. Other residents turned against her. They were tired of her fines, her control, her constant nitpicking. Many had secretly liked Ben. He'd helped them with small repairs, lent out tools, even fixed a few kids' bikes over the years. He was the kind of man you couldn't stay mad at, patient, kind, and steady. When the county later discovered that Karen had falsified maintenance reports to justify closing Ben's old road, she was fined and removed from her HOA position. Her property value plummeted. Ironically, the new road, running right through her former yard, was labeled a nuisance zone due to road adjacency. Ben didn't gloat. He just waved one morning as she packed her car, the road gleaming beside what used to be her perfect lawn. Months later, the new road became more than Ben's route. Locals started using it as a shortcut through peaceful farmland, lined with wildflowers he'd planted himself. The town added a small wooden sign at the end of the road that read, "Emily's Way, built with patience and pride." Ben smiled every time he drove down it. As for Karen, she eventually sold her house. But people still whispered about her, the woman who blocked a farmer's road and lost her front yard to karma and concrete. Ben often said softly, "Funny thing about roads, they always lead back to the truth. Sometimes the best revenge doesn't come with shouting or anger. It comes with a steady hand, a strong heart, and a little bit of gravel." If this story made you smile or reminded you that good people still win quietly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It helps our little storytelling community grow, one road at a time.